Happy Friday, y'all, and welcome to another edition of On the Needle. So, today we're doing a bit of a throwback album. I'm really a sucker for compilation albums, number ones albums, because for some artists that have a ton of albums out, it's easier to get a greatest hits or a collection of songs versus buying every single album. So Stevie Wonder is definitely one of those people for me. He's one of my favorite artists. I have two of his albums. I would love to have Songs in the Key of Life. Don't have that one, so if anyone knows where I can get that at a decent price, please let me know. But I do have the Soul, is it like Soul Aquarium? The one with the fish on the cover. If you know, you know. But the one that I'm talking about today, though, is this number ones album. I love this whole series because there are a lot of artists. I don't know if this is a Target exclusive thing, but I usually always see them at Target. So it's a number ones compilation. So the criteria for these albums is any track that has gone number one, basically on any chart. So not just the pop charts; it can be R&B as well. Another cool thing about this number ones series, which I have Marvin Gaye's number ones too, which is really good. A lot of times those albums do come with a colored vinyl. So as you can see here, this one is red, which is pretty cool. So not just your standard vinyl. And they're pretty affordable. I would say, I think for this one and the Marvin Gaye one, I didn't pay over $25, which is a pretty good price for an album. So I'll just give a brief synopsis of the track listings, kind of call out some of my favorite songs on here. So there's Fingertips Part 2, which was a number one R&B song for 6 weeks and pop number one for 3 weeks. Came out in 1963. So this music goes way back, and I think that's just a testament to Stevie Wonder's greatness and his longevity. I mean, here we are 60 years later from when this song came out, and Stevie Wonder is still so relevant. He's still your favorite artist, if you will. He's still making music to this day. It's still relevant. I think that's what any artist would want in their career. Uptight, Everything's All Right, that's included on here. That was a number one R&B song for 5 weeks. I Was Made to Love Her, one of my favorites, number one R&B song for 4 weeks. Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours, also number one R&B for 6 weeks. Man, one thing I want to call out before I go any further, though, I feel like in today's world, it's not so difficult to get to number one for a lot of artists. But to get there and stay there for several weeks, that's almost a thing of the past. I mean, you don't see a lot of people doing that now, especially a lot of black artists, really. I mean, you see Taylor Swift has done it a lot of times, Adele. Even when Beyonce went number one with Break My Soul, it was only number one for a week, if I'm not mistaken. But hey, number one is a number one. I'd say, big shout out to SZA, because this last album she put out, I mean, that thing has been number one, like 10 weeks, I think, total, which is kind of unheard of. So she's broken a lot of records with this album. So kudos to her. Superstition, I think a lot of people know that one, was a number one R&B and pop song. I'm not going to go through every single one, but I'll just kind of pick out my favorites from here. So I Wish, love that song. So dope. Number one R&B for 5 weeks, and also pop number one too. Sir Duke, that one is probably, I'd say, in the top 5 favorites of Stevie Wonder for me. Actually, when I saw Sir Duke on the track listing, that was one of the defining factors for me to purchase this album. That song was number one for R&B and pop for 3 weeks, and it came out in 1977. That Girl, another jamming song. That Girl was actually sampled, for those of you who are hip hop fans, by I want to say it was MJG. I don't think it was A-Ball and MJG, because I know MJG has some solo stuff too. So I think it was just MJG. But if y'all have heard the song, you know what I'm talking about. Um, so interesting that Stevie Wonder even allowed that song to be sampled. A lot of artists, especially a lot of your classic legendary artists, they're really picky about what songs are sampled and which ones aren't, which I can't blame them on that at all. I just called to say I love you. Just a beautiful song. Love that one. And Overjoyed is another one of my favorites. Was number one on the adult contemporary chart for 2 weeks. So y'all get the point. Here is the full track listing here. So a lot of songs on this 2 album set. I'd say it's about 20 tracks or so on here. So definitely a great collector's item if you're looking to get into legendary artists or just have some of these legendary artists in your vinyl collection, but you don't want to necessarily go out and get every single album that they've put out. So curious to know you all's thoughts. If you have this album, let me know. If you have some favorite Stevie Wonder songs, feel free to drop those in the comments. One song that's not on here, and it's on the Aquarium album that I mentioned earlier, is "Ribbon in the Sky." I'd say again, that's another top 5 Stevie Wonder song for me. I love that, love that song. I do think that Donnell Jones, he did a good job on the remake, but for the most part, I haven't heard one that's better than Stevie Wonder. But I will say the Donnell Jones one is really good. But let me know what y'all think, and thanks everyone for tuning in to another edition of On the Needle. And until next time, peace and have a great, safe weekend.